What's going on? It's Big A with another video. It's been 24 hours, well just over actually, since I've seen Spider-Man No Way Home. So I guess this is kind of my review of that movie. There will be loads of spoilers. In fact, I think spoilers should be the first thing that I should talk about because they're, well, a big point of the movie. Before we go ahead, if you've not seen a movie, do see the movie and then come back and then watch the review. Do all the things like comment and all that. Well, Charlie Cox back as Matt Murdock. Like the one scene that he's in, it's a good scene. Literally makes so much sense to be there. Everyone in my cinema was pretty shocked when they saw Charlie Cox just sat there with his cane, and he got to do a little bit of daredeviling, or at least use his reflexes in a cool kind of way. A major one being that Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire show up as their Spider-Man, which makes complete sense in the story, considering that all the villains from the previous two incarnations of Spider-Man, their movies, kind of end up in the MCU. Having those two appear, like the scene when Ned is using the sling ring, and the portal opens to find Peter, and then they're saying, Peter, come here, come here, come here. They can see him in an alleyway. And I saw the eyes of the costume and I was like, that's not the MCU Peter Parker. That's one of the other ones. And then as soon as I saw the suit, because at first it's in black and then you see the suit as kind of like he runs into the room and there's lights in the room and whatnot so you can see his suit better. I was just like, that's Andrew Garfield, man. And then he whips off the mask. Everyone went absolutely insane in my cinema. Started whooping and hollering and cheering. Now this is England, isn't it? This is Britain. This is the UK. We don't normally do that kind of thing, but it was completely appropriate in this scenario, and I loved it. I thought it was great. Same thing happened again when Tobey Maguire showed up as kind of like a slightly wiser, older Peter Parker. It was good to see Tobey Maguire again in the role. His Peter Parker was always so kind of like quiet and polite, you know what I mean? So it was sweet to see him as well. And they had to do this, you know what I mean? After Spider-Verse, they didn't really have a choice. That they had to kind of do something big. And essentially this is kind of like a live action Into the Spider-Verse. Aunt May dies. She croaks it like it's all due to the Green Goblin as well. Like he throws one of his pumpkin bombs. Peter, MCU Peter, tries to knock it out of the way. Kind of does, but it doesn't go so well. And yeah, Aunt May's there when it goes down. At first I was like, nah, they're not going to kill her. She's only got a bit of a scratch. She'll go to hospital or something, you know what I mean? No, there's loads of blood. And she dies. Other than that, kind of those are really the big ones. And if anyone like told me of those spoilers beforehand, I would have been really annoyed. With the whole Toby and Andrew thing, I think we always kind of knew, but because they denied it so much, we're like, well, there's a possibility that they might not be in it, and it turns out that they are. But yeah, it was great to have them. It was great to see all the villains also. It all makes kind of sense within the MCU. They do explain it quite well. It doesn't necessarily move as fast as I would like, but a lot of the reason why kind of this whole story happens is that MJ, Peter, and Ned can't get into college, can't get into MIT because they're associated with Spider-Man, because the whole world knows Peter Parker's Spider-Man. So Peter goes to Doctor Strange to have everyone kind of forget, but he keeps making changes to the spell. That's why it all goes wrong, and therefore it kind of brings in people from all over the other universes who know who Spider-Man is, and therefore they go looking for Spider-Man in MCU universe as well. And it's very metatextual because all the Peters are talking with one another, and like there's scenes where they're just like chatting about their lives and stuff and the differences between them and all that business, and like kind of bigging each other up. It was just great to see them like all chat and talk about their experiences, because everyone's got their their favorite Peter Parker or Peter Parkers, and yeah, just see them all like chat and get along was great. And then to see all the action at the end with them working together as a team, that was wicked as well. That was freaking awesome. Cool things happen with Doc Ock, for example, as well. Like he actually gets cured, which was great. Norman Osborn, like Willem Dafoe as Norman Osborn, is so good. It was so, like I laughed out loud when he said, "I'm somewhat of a scientist myself." I just went, I love the fact that he said that line again. One of the most self-aware movies I've like ever seen. It's not a fun adventure the way the others were a fun adventure, and because it does get serious with the whole Aunt May death thing, um, it it kind of feels different from the other one. It kind of feels not more grown up, but more willing to have, whether you want to call it collateral damage or a character death that actually means something. Like it was a good idea. And at the end of the movie, kind of, yeah, Doctor Strange does do a spell, but just for everyone to forget kind of like who Peter Parker is, and for him not no one to remember who he is at all. And it's kind of sad because now that he's not got Aunt May, it kind of puts Peter in a position whereby he is on his own. You know what I mean? A lot of people have criticized the MCU Spider-Man movies for him being like Iron Lad, essentially. Whereas this movie firmly puts him in the Peter Parker on his own in an apartment. He might get a job at the Daily Bugle, hopefully. And yeah, he just has to make his own suit. You see, he's got a sewing machine at the end of the movie and stuff, and he sewed his own suit, and it looks mad comic accurate. Like it looks, it's very eye catching. It is a fun movie at times as well, but it's a bit of a downer. And I do like movies that sometimes are a bit of a downer, like Rogue One. But I have to acknowledge that because it's a downer, that it doesn't mean it's not good. Because I do actually like everything in it. In fact, one of my favorite moments in the movie is when they're on the Statue of Liberty and they kind of spring into action, and there's this shot of them like swinging down and then kind of like landing, and you got, Tom Holland in the middle, and then you've got Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield either side, and I was just like, that's a beautiful shot. Oh, what's his name? I've forgotten his name. We've got Bane. What's Bane's name? Tom Hardy. We got Tom Hardy as Eddie Brock. He actually comes over to the MCU, but you don't find this out until like the post-credit scene. Well, the mid-credit scene actually, because there is a post one as well. The mid one, and you know what? It's pretty funny. I was like, I kind of like how they did this, and he's pretty much talking to a guy about kind of what's going on in the MCU, and he's like, "Is it? You're saying all this happened, and I'm in a different universe, and there's a guy from space," and so it was pretty good. And then the post-credit scene isn't actually a scene; it's a trailer for Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, and I'm so glad to have Sam Raimi back. It looks freaking cool. Baron Mordo's got dreadlocks now. America Chavez is in it. I don't know which version of the character they're going to go with, where it's more like the original one, which was in Young Avengers, or whether they're going to go Gabby Rivera, or maybe a mix of the two. I don't know, but like it looks different, the same but different from the first Doctor Strange. It looks a lot darker, and there is, well, we do see rather an evil Doctor Strange. I don't know if that's the same evil Doctor Strange that we had in What If. It could be. What's my score for the movie? Man, I don't think I can give it an A star because it's not the best Spider-Man movie I've seen. I actually think the best Spider-Man movie I've ever seen is Into the Spider-Verse. I'd have to give this definitely an A. Like it is fun, but then it does have some kind of more grown-up moments in there, and you do have Spider-Man dealing with death and overcoming that and kind of learning to do the right thing and coping with his feelings and emotions, which are kind of dark kind of themes to deal with, but I'm glad it's in there. And I guess like any kind of younger people who see it, like younger kids who see it, hopefully that'll be kind of something that they'll learn from the film, that sometimes, you can lose people that you love and then it's painful, but you can kind of honor their memory in a way and be a better person from them. It's an A from me. If you've not seen it, why the hell did you watch this video? Go and see it, right? Let me know as to what you think of the movie, what you thought of, or kind of like the main points or the spoilery points that people are talking about online. Do all the things, and as always, I'll catch you in the next one.